Alright, next target. We're down to miner's hole for this one. Lovely little miner's hole. And take you off Bluetooth and we'll give you a listen. I've lost a bar of battery there on the detector. And let's just have a look how we've been going for time. I actually haven't looked. 11:12. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all, really. So this is how I heard him. If I can find him. Quite an obvious sounding signal. I'm a bit tired, I think I am today. Can't talk properly. This is the 7th day out on the cold, as I said. Let's just have one more listen. And I'll keep explaining. So, from mechanicking... okay, could be lead. From mechanicking there, excuse me, for 6 years, I was at Tim's at Petters and loved it. Like it was good. I didn't get along with everybody. I'm not going to name names, but I didn't get along with everybody. There's one person that gave me a little bit of trouble, but you deal with that. You're going to get that in every place, every scenario that you work or where you go in life. So you just deal with it. And if you can't deal with it, well, it's your problem, isn't it? Anyway, 6 years I spent there. Really liked it. In actual fact, I never wanted to leave, and it was one of the hardest decisions in my life to leave that place. That sounds silly, I know. Hardest decision in your life to leave a job. The problem is, well, the point of that is such a good job. I love that job. So I just had it great there. And I actually went to the doctors because, as I said before, back pain. I've got ankylosing spondylitis in my back, lower back. It's a hereditary disease. Nothing I can do about it. But the doctor, I remember, said to me, Chinese doctor, he said, like football player, you might like play football, but you can't do it forever. You might like mechanicking, but you can't do it forever. You need to find a new job. That's exactly what he said to me. I'm not trying to be racist with the accent, sorry. That's just what he said to me. He's one of my best doctors I've ever had too. So, don't think I'm being rude there. I love him. I really trust him. Not many other doctors I've had I trust like I do this bloke. So credit to him. Very, very good doctor. But he told me, look, you need to go find something else to do, mate. You just can't keep doing, you're killing yourself. You're killing your body. And he said, you could be in a wheelchair by the time you're 50 as it is. You really want to push that any sooner. It's a degenerative disc disease that you've got, which means that my bones are always fusing and degenerating and fusing together, what have you. So it's not really a nice thing to go through. But he said, you're making yourself go through more pain. Like I was living in pain, living on medication and painkillers too, which is not healthy. And I'd work Monday through to Friday, mechanicking, only to rest up on Saturdays, Sundays. I remember the boys were only really young too then. So they're always wanting to roll around the floor and play. That was lead. And I was that stiff and sore. I remember some mornings I couldn't even get out of bed, and I remember a lot of mornings rolling over in pain and moaning and groaning in pain. And poor Helena, she'd have to get up out of bed. She didn't have to, but she would. She'd always get up out of bed and she'd be like, "You're right, do you need anything? Can I help you?" And she'd help me up out of bed, and to the point where she was even putting my pants on, putting my socks on. I was literally in tears, not crying, but the pain was so intense. It was bringing tears to my eyes. Anybody that's ever had a pinched nerve, you can relate it to that pain. It wasn't a pinched nerve. I don't have any nerve impingement whatsoever. I've had MRI scans to prove that. And I've had all the dye and everything put through me, but that's weird. Feels weird, but no nerve impingement. It's all degenerative disc disease, ankylosing spondylitis. It's a type of HLA-B1 blood type that basically responds to it and gets that type of arthritic disease. And I'm one of them. It's quite rare too. In actual fact, teamed up with that, I've also got cardiomyopathy of the heart, so an enlarged heart, and that's also hereditary. In actual fact, Elvis Presley had this exact same disease, heart disease. And 21 years of age I was when I was diagnosed with both of them, really. Complaining of back pain since I was teen, but not diagnosed with back pain or back problems or a diagnosis, until I was 21, 22, thereabouts. And same thing with the heart. I remember sitting up in the Alfred Hospital with Helena, and they gave me a book with a happy family on the front. It makes you want to cry, but I did then anyway. But the book had a happy family on the front, mother, father, kids, and Dom and Zay were only really young at that stage. And I remember the front of the book said, I've got a target there. The book said, there's happy family, and it said down the bottom, your guide to heart failure. Cop that when you're 21. Anyway, that's reality. And yeah, so yeah, it's reality. So mechanic there for many years, and in actual fact, like I was saying there before, it was one of the hardest decisions to in my life to ever leave there. And I left there on doctor's advice, saying, mate, you know, you need to go find something else. You just can't keep beating your body up like that. I mean, I was stuck under a hoist all day, or leaning over an engine bay all day. You're stationary a lot of the time too, so you're not actually, you're doing a lot of twisting, turning and bending, and you're not really, you know, here I am bending over digging a hole right now, but I can do a lot of walking, and it's completely different. Target up here too. I keep hearing it every time I bring my coil back and forth while I'm talking. Multitasking. So yeah, I left, that's lead. I left Petters, and that was really, really hard to do. I remember telling my bosses that I was going to finish up. Actual fact, I'll say it properly. I went to 3 days a week. I went to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that way I could have a bit of a break with my back in between. Have a day off and try and recuperate so I could get back to work the next day. Silly, I know, but that's what I thought I'd do, and try and resolve the issue that way and still mechanic. Is that, where'd he go? So I gave my notice in April, still in the pile there. I gave my notice to my bosses in April, and sorry, I'll say that right. I gave my notice to my bosses in about August of 1 year, and I didn't leave until April the next year, because I really didn't want to leave. I went down to 3 days a week, and it still wasn't working out. I still couldn't handle it, the pain, and I had a bit of a mental breakdown there, and just with pain comes a lot of mental pain. And anybody that deals with that, I don't have to tell them that. But anybody that doesn't, they might find that a little bit hard to understand, but there's a lot of mental pain associated with living day in, day out with physical pain. And I'm really fortunate now. I don't live in that pain as much anymore. I still have my bad days, yeah. But I don't live, like I was just saying to Helena last night, how nice is it? We're talking about when we went to Sydney there last, and Sydney's a very hilly place. And I remember thoroughly enjoyed my time up at Sydney with Helena, but so sore all the time. Walking around, everything we did, God, I was sore. And I struggled. And we're struggling now. What are we doing? Yeah, push him on the country, around the country. So yeah, I'm just fortunate I don't have to put up with that back pain as much anymore. It's still there, it's only getting worse too, but I try and deal with it the best I can now and do things. And you know, having a bad day, I try and take it easy, and I can. That's the key right there. I can take it a bit easier. Let's get this one out. Bloody lead again. We're plagued by lead today, we are. I think that's about number 12, 13. We've got the target up in front of us, so let's fix this hole up. Not much to fix up, but let's work our way up the bank and grab that next one out. Oh, we're slowly making our way down the gully. And in my mind too, like in the back of my mind, I just keep thinking, I'll take a break in a minute. Because it's coming on lunch and I'm hungry. Plenty of food in the back of me harness pouch. I just keep finding targets though, and I just keep digging. This will be the last though, just before we have a bite to eat, as I said though. Hopefully it's gold. We're in really great material at the moment. Look at this. The clay, the shale, the sandstone, the slate, a hole that I haven't filled in yet. I'm going to get back over into that bank. It's going to clear away all these sticks and branches so you can swing down properly, because I've got a few targets around here so far, so it obviously hasn't been hunted very well. And hopefully this one's gold. Last two have been lead. We'll explain a little bit more though as we go. Oh, he sounds good. Explain a little bit more as we go. So I was at Petters for just on 6 years, and as I said, left because of my back, and I had to go find something else to do. Now, take this as you will, but I went back to freight, the freight game, couriering, being a courier. Now, some people think, well, what's worse on your back, you know, a mechanic or a courier? Well, a mechanic was definitely worse for in my situation. Sounds awesome. This one's going to be gold, I reckon. So I went back to being a courier, and it was just light parcel freight. And I did say to the new, like I work for a new freight company, I was going to go back to the old one, but they just simply didn't have anything for me at the time. So I went and got a job at another freight company locally, and well, that was the start of that. And I was there for the next 3.5 years and absolutely loved it. Every bit, I loved it. Well, that could be a really big bit. And I work with a great group of guys. Angus was my boss, and you've met Angus before. We did a video with him down at the history park, and we went through all the sheds with Angus, and I still catch up with him to this day. Really, really good mates, and he was my boss. And sadly, sadly he left because he had a car accident. I'll just say it, and yeah, it wasn't the same after that. He was the depot manager, and after we lost Angus, the depot manager, well, the depot wasn't managed properly. And then it went out of business. Well, not out of business, but it shifted out locally and went to another town. And they offered me to keep my job and said, you know, you can start earlier, 5 a.m. and take the truck down to that town and pick up the freight and then return to your town and deliver it all. And I said, I'm sorry, but I've got 2 young sons which I'm responsible for dropping off to school every morning. That just will not work for me. And I just had surgery at the time. That was last year. I was a week into medical leave when they rang me and told me that. So a week later, I knew that when I returned to work, well, I wouldn't have a job to return to. That was a shit go too. But that's life. There he is. That's a bullet. Actually, it's a percussion cap. That's life though. We picked up our socks from there, and well, we did what we said before. We went round, resume in hand. You want a job, that's how you get it. Simple as that. Resume in hand, went round, and yeah, it's a percussion cap off an old gun. They'd fire it and it'd let the gun off. So resume in hand, I went round, and my last job before going full time out here gold prospecting like you see today was a spare parts interpreter. Now I went out there for a a job to become a mechanic, a diesel mechanic. It was an agricultural workshop and sales place, sales and service, agricultural. So they dealt with tractors and farm machinery, all that sort of stuff, implements, everything, you name it, we dealt with it. And I went out there looking for a diesel mechanic position, and I spoke to a bloke there, Adam. Really good friends with Adam still today. He's actually part of the Facebook group, and he's offered me a spot up Lanakuri to go detect a family farm property. So look, ties and connections, you know, you just make them along the way. Adam actually messaged me the other night. But I went and seen Adam and explained, you know, what I was up to, who I was, what I wanted to do. And he said, look, unfortunately, mate, I don't think we've got any room in the workshop for you just yet now. I'm sorry. We're full up, you know, we've got 20 odd mechanics out there, and I just don't think we need another one at the moment. Would you be interested though in a spare parts interpreter position? So become a spare parts interpreter. That means look at breakdowns, you know, mechanical breakdowns, order in the parts that are required. You know, a farmer breaks his tractor out in the paddock. You basically, you know, he rings up requiring parts, what he's broke, you supply the breakdown or order the parts in. So there's a lot of computer work, a lot of detailed breakdowns to look through, which I understood anyway. I mean, coming from that mechanical background, I understood the mechanical breakdowns and the diagrams I was looking at. Even the technical ones, you get your head around them. The computer though, that was the hardest thing. The bloody computer. List price, retail price, you know, what we'd buy it in for, what we'd sell it, trade price, and then if you had a discount on top of that sort of stuff really threw me. You know, you'd order a part in for $335, and that's what it cost us. So that was your listing. No, hang on. That was your, oh God, listing price. I don't know. And then your retail. Look, it's been 6-7 months and since I did it, and to be honest, I didn't like it, and I've lost it. It's not in the memory bank anymore because I didn't really care much for it. I love the job and the people I work with, but I didn't like the computer side of things. That was just a headache. I was never great at computers. So yeah, that was my last job, spare parts interpreter, before coming out here full time. And when I decided to make the full time, commitment, that's not going to stay there. Don't worry, I'll pick it up in a second. But when I decided to make the full time commitment, I went to my boss Adam, and I just said to him, "Look, mate, it's got to happen. You know, like I either keep. I was there for 12 months. I either keep being here for another 12 months." And to be honest, I'm not really enjoying the work. Like, I'm enjoying the workplace, but not what I'm really doing. It's just not me. It's not my passion. And I think it's very important to be happy in life. And I was ready financially at that stage to go full time. So that's what I did. It was a good decision, right decision. Adam supported it. He was very happy with it. He said to me, you know, I've seen it coming, mate. Not in a bad way. But he follows me on YouTube. Excuse me, I'm eating. Facebook, everything like that. And as he said, I can see where you're heading, you know. And it's your dream. And as he said, I'd rather you go follow your dream and it fail than you never go follow it at all. So go get them, mate. Go get them. That's what we're doing. Sunday, brekkie time, a little bit late, 11:39. Having a break, we'll go getting them. Alright, well, Smoko is over. A quick Smoko, as you've seen. What a lovely day to have Smoko out the bush though. And 2 targets after the lunch, smoke I should say. Lunch is still coming. One is gold. The other one I didn't show because it was lead, so we just went straight in the pouch. There we go, little one. They're all little ones today, and it's okay. The gold is all little, really, that you find today. Certainly all adds up. We're over 13 grams for the month of August thus far. So if we can get a gram out today, that'll put us to 14. We'll be pushing towards our ½ ounce for the month of August. And I have went a bit slow towards the end of this month. Like I sort of went hard start of the month and I dropped off. Had a lot going on. And Monday I was out in the gold. This week gone. I mean, today we're Sunday, as you know. But Monday I was out in the gold. Tuesday I was out in the gold. Blow all that dirt out of there. Wednesday I was out in the gold. Thursday I was out in the gold. I did really well. I did 2.5 grams or 2.65 grams on Thursday. And then Friday was a day home, but it was not a day off. I serviced a Honda HR-V. Do a lot of car servicing from home. So I did a service at home, a Honda HR-V, and making money that way too, which is good. So it's not really a day off. It's still a day doing something, working from home, just not on the gold. And then Saturday, just yesterday, I was out here with Pa and the boys. We had a great day. Pa had a great day too. And then, well, today was supposed to be my day off. I'm really fortunate I've got such a wonderful partner and boys, but Helena is very understanding, and she works 6 days a week. She sells cars. She works at a Ford dealership, so she sells Rangers and Everests and, I don't know, Ford Pumas. She sells all that sort of stuff. And she's top sales lady too. She does a fantastic job, Helena. Very, very, very good at her job. Very professional. That's why she sells so many cars. Some days she might sell 4 or 5 cars in a day. It's phenomenal. So she does really well. But she works 6 days a week. The boys go to school 5 days a week. Sunday, theoretically, is our only day, all off to spend together. But as I said, we're going away, family holidays soon. I don't know whether I did say that, but I'm saying it now. We're going away family holidays very soon. And, boy, geez, I'm looking forward to it. I said to Elena, it's not all that long. It's probably 6 or 7 days that we're going. I don't really know. I just pay half of it and get told what to do and show up on the day. Helena organises everything. She's just amazing. But, yeah, look, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. No detecting, no kids, no running around, school, pick up, drop off, no videoing, no filming, no editing, no YouTubing, just time with the family, enjoying. It's going to be awesome. Oh, it's definitely warming up today, which is exactly why I'm out here. Like it's just got to take advantage of the days that you can. This week's horrible, as I said, so I can see myself doing a lot of indoor activities this week. Maybe trying to get out for a coin rally cunt if I can, but to drive an hour to the goldfields, you know, just to get rained on with the off chance of getting gold, filming's near impossible when it's raining that much because everything's muddy, sticky, wet and dirty, and a lot harder. So to come up here on a rainy day, it doesn't really make too much sense. I've done it a lot of times in the past before. I'm not afraid to do it, but if I can avoid it, I try to. It does mean being away from the family today though, and I'm having fun, but I don't really want to be out here just now today. I could happily jump in the car and go home right now. Always push myself for what's needed to be done. I've always taught the boys that sometimes in life there's things that you don't want to do, but you just get out and do them. As I said before, it sounds like I'm probably complaining. Oh dear, here I am out digging gold in the Australian bush and I'm not complaining. I hope it doesn't sound that way anyway. Pat, 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 pat. Just nothing more important than family though. I've really come to learn that over the years too. At one point I treated my own family pretty bad. So, you know, to realise that years later, how important family is, well, it's important. It's very important. Lead! Bugger. We don't want to be out here Look, we don't want to be out here today. I'm back out here again tomorrow. That's 8 days in a row. Tuesday I'm having off. But don't really want to be out here at the moment if I can help it, and especially don't want to be digging bloody rubbish. Let's get you on the next. Oh, just decided to have a break for a second. And there's the dam I was saying about. Some ducks. Hello duckies. That's pretty cool. This road above me too was all graded there a while ago, and I was doing this exact thing. I was walking along this little stretch along past the dam, and I seen the grader drivers busy. I actually went over and, well, they called out to me. They said like, hey, any luck, mate? I was just walking through. I said, nah, just starting. Haven't turned it on yet. And they were grading the road, as I said. They got the better of me. I went over and said to them, hey guys, just out of interest, like, you can say no if you want, but would you allow me to go behind the grader or in front, whatever, with my metal detector and see if I can pick up a gold nugget or two? They're like, yeah, go for it. They're only my age. Not that that matters, but they're like, yeah mate, go for it. That sounds awesome. Just when we come along, just make sure you get out of the way. I said, yeah, no worries. Been around machinery all my life. That's fine. So I started detecting. Within 10 minutes, I picked up a gold nugget. And I waved down the grader driver, Matt, his name was, Jared, Matt. I got both their numbers in my phone. And I'll just take this gear off for a second. And I pulled the grader driver over. I said, there you go, mate. Put it in his hand. I said, that's yours, buddy. Oh, cool, he said. That's awesome, thanks, mate. So yeah, pretty cool. I just wanted to show you this while we're walking our way through here. I'll get back to that in a second, where the detectors are. But I'm not going to go anywhere bloody near it. I want to go home today. Look at this. What a monstrosity. Imagine digging that. Let's just grab a rock. Listen. Yeah, I don't want to go down there. That's scary. Ready? Dunk. That is very scary. I'd lower you down, but I'm not going anywhere near the bloody edge of that. And you got to be really careful around the old mine shafts, because you can see that there. I'll just sit down. I mean, we were just standing over on that ledge there, but we were well away from it because I did spot it when I walked over. That's called overhang. Now, if you were to stand up on that thinking it was safe, up on the bank there, and that let go, geez, I'd hate to know what would happen. I think I would know what would happen. Look, that's probably 30, 40 meters deep. Crazy depth. Not somewhere you want to end up. And just leaving the detector there, this is where they would have run out. They probably had a lot of the machinery erected. This is not a hut or anything, but the miners did this some 150 years ago. Is that not the most fascinating thing you've ever seen? I love spotting this sort of stuff. They've used all the raw materials coming straight out of the mine. Look, this one's faced this way, this one's faced this way. But they've used all the raw materials and it's in line with the shaft almost, kind of. So they've probably been using it to bring out all their pay dirt. Look, I actually don't know what sat here. Was it a boiler? Was it a little tramway track where they ran the material out like wires? If I stand back here, there's a break in the wall there and there. It's just so cool though. Here I am away from the family on a Sunday, and I've seen this before, but fascinating. I just love exploring. Like, I should just make a YouTube channel just on me walking around and exploring. Look at the rabbits. They went to town here. Plenty of good digging ground here, boys. Maybe it's their training grounds. Is that not just like so fascinating though? How cool. And you can even see that they sort of propped up the wall here. Like, why have they done that? Was it collapsing and they just put a little retainer wall there to hold it? I don't know. This material too, you'll notice, straight out of the mine, she's got some rounded quartz river rocks in it. So like there could be gold in this wall. But geez, you would never touch it though, because you're destroying history. And who would ever want to destroy or touch this? I think that is just the most spectacular thing ever. Look at this piece. Riddled through with quartz. Could be gold in that piece of stone, but it wouldn't matter how much is in there. I, for one, certainly would never touch this. It's just beautiful craftsmanship. And it probably was a rush job. Like the miners probably, you know, hurry up, get it done. You know, we're trying to process the gold. Look at the mud. Look at the mud stuck on side. I don't want to push on it too hard because I don't want it to collapse, because it takes away from its character and its originality. Look at the mud they've used to cram it together. I mean, this is not mortar or cement. This is some pretty higgly-piggly stones stacked together, held together with mud. And you can see that all the way through down the base. It's just, and this mud here would have been some of the overburden wash material that they pulled out of the shaft mine as well. Probably what was dug out on the top of that shaft. Fascinating. We'll leave it alone now. You got to look at those things though, and well, if you don't properly, you can't appreciate them. I, for one, certainly appreciate them. Let's get going. Yes, 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 yes. Pays off. We just went for a bit of a walk. That's our biggest bit today, I think. Went for a bit of a walk there. Showed you that mine. We continued on. I don't even know where I am at the moment. Yes, I do. I just been thinking though lately, like, does the gold continue down the gully? Let's go see. So I'm not having lunch, or I haven't had lunch just yet. I'm going to have lunch down the gully here, but just digging a few targets out. We've got 22 bullets and lead and whatnot, but down the side of the bank here, oh, that is sensational. Gold nugget. The gold nugget. And as I said, I was just trying to prove that there was actually gold continuing on down the gully here. And there it is. Proved it. So let's put him in the pouch, or in the container. Starting to sound pretty healthy in there too, and that guy really helps. And we're going to dig out a few more targets, because I got pretty excited now. And cut toink. It's 12:49. So I think, look, 10 minutes. We'll keep digging, and I mean it. We're going to sit down and have a bite to eat, and a break, and some lunch. And we're going to keep going after that for a little bit, and then we're going to get back to the family. Oh, this is exciting. New spots paying off. And we're across the gully there, but I'll just show you what I just seen. See that wash material down there? I've actually taken a bite out of the bank there, but I'm literally sitting on a pile of wash dirt. Look at it. Beautiful material. Quartz stones, rounded, sharp, jagged, slate, everything. And we just got this one. So as I said, I was over the other side of the bank, but I seen that material and I thought, uh-oh, I'm getting straight over there, because that's generally gold bearing material. And look at what we've got. Try and get you in the sun. Oh, turn around here. Not doing the best job, sorry, but geez, he's well worth it. A couple of bits of lead there prior to that last bit of gold, but I did get another bit of gold after it, after the lead. So that's number 3 bit of gold from this gully thus far. We've only been down here about half an hour. Awesome. What's the time? 1:04. Let's stop and have something to eat. That's an awesome way to finish before lunch. Stop and have something to eat, and keep on going. Did I say lunchtime? I meant one more target. Guess what? We're in a stony area. We found a stony area. I love stones. This one, yeah, he's only tiny. Let's give him a bit of a rub up. Wipe off on the knee, don't break him out. It's happened before. This one's tiny, but it indicates once again that we're in a stony area, because the last one come out of stone. We're sitting on a massive wash pile full of stones. Actually not a wash pile. It's like it's natural. I don't think the miners ever found it or attacked it. Like, I know it's hard to believe. They found nearly everything. But look at this. It's just wash that's built up on the bank here. And once again, you can really see that. Just take you down the bank. Oh, you see the difference in the layers here. So down below, we've just got nothing. And this is what I spotted from the other side of the bank. And then going up, you can see you've got this beautiful wash material. And that's where I'm getting the gold in. All that stuff right there. Everything below, I really don't, well, you're not going to get gold in this browny soil. You can see there, oh no, it's just sitting on the edge as it's falling off. But yeah, that's just the layer that we want to be in, that top layer. So that's what we're attacking, and you can see it runs out, sort of runs out there, follows all the way around above my detector. Oh, let me get me footing. Oh, falling again. You can see a big thick layer of it here, which is quite nice, and continues on. Well, no, it stops. Stops right there. So it's really only for a couple of meters that we've got that pay wash layer. And it's lovely stuff. Whoop, we're still falling, but I mean it now. It's time for lunch. I really mean that. Let's have it. Just as I'm having this quick bite to eat, I'll finish off what I started this morning, all my jobs that I've had. So the last job that I had was, ooh, look at my lunch. It's got condensation in there, being a bit hot. I do keep an ice pack in there though. How cool's that? Got everything on board. So I finished up to come out here full time because I was working as a spare parts interpreter 3 days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursdays we're out detecting. Saturday, Sundays we're out detecting. Friday, every Friday was getting a video ready, a live chat video, Premiere. And not to mention I was putting 2 or 3 videos out a week. I was running myself into the ground once again. I tend to do that. So I went full time, made the decision to go full time, and here we are. 7-8 months on. We've been doing all right. But I will say there was a few jobs I had prior to all of what I've explained today. And one of my first jobs, I'll say, was working for a lady named Vera. She was about 80 years old, and I had to go feed her dog. And then the next job I had after that, that was only just, puppy money, play money. The next job I had after that was at our local gun club, and my job was to load the clay targets on the swing arm that would throw them out. And there'd be an old man sitting there with a button, and as the guys would load their guns up and go pull, he'd hit the button, and the arm of the machine that I worked on would go and let go of the clay targets. And if you had your hand in the way, and that happened quite a bit, you get hit with the arm flying off at an amazing speed. Trust me, it hurt. And the clay targets would just shatter, obliterate in your hand. And then you'd hear the shooters out the back, "Come on, what are you doing?" And I was only about 14, 13 at the time. And sometimes they'd actually shoot the back of the bloody bunker. So you'd be in the bunker and you'd hear the shotgun pellets, riddle the back of the wall. And after your 6-hour shift, you'd get out of the bunker, and the bloody paint's all chipped off the wall. You can see where every little shot and pellets hit. So yeah, trapper, clay target loader, working for the lady, feeding her dog, and not to mention all the stuff we did on the farm, helping Dad and Mum. Just paid by love. Those were love jobs, those ones. But a lot of jobs. And then when I was in high school, one of my very first jobs after those couple, loading the clay targets and feeding dogs, whatever, when I was young, 10, 12 and whatnot. After I was about 14, 9 months, I got my first job, and that was Safeway produce section. So I was stacking fruit. And then after that, I was washing dishes at a chicken place. They sold chicken and chips, and I just out the back peeling potatoes and washing dishes. One thing I'll take away from that, hard work, it gets you to where you're going to be one day, and that all depends on how hard you work. Not only that, don't be afraid of it. It doesn't kill you. Let's have lunch. Oh, I don't know how hot it's got, probably about 20 degrees now. It's very warm. And we've walked a mile too. This is going to be our last target. Or maybe last second target. Because it sounds like this one beside it too. Just give that scrape back a bit. Your boot's your best friend. Let's have a little listen. Got 2 targets on this one. Looks great wash material too, so could be a chance on gold for both. Alright, let's go off this top one first. He's definitely got my attention. Something tells me where I am too. It's a real snaky area. I'm really watching out, trust me. Because hot day, spring weather, they're mating at the moment. They're angry. You don't want to disturb snakes springtime, or coming into spring. And they're hungry too, because they've just woken up. And yeah, look, don't want to get bitten by a snake, especially down here too. Like, I'm probably about 2.5, 3 k's away from the car. They always say, stay where you are, don't move, you know, don't get your heart rate up. Well, how am I expected to stay here all the way down the gully? And like, I can stay here, that's fine. And that's probably the smart thing to do, from what they say. But how would anybody find me? How could I explain to someone where I was? Quite the challenge. So how would they come down and rescue me? I don't know. So just be very, very careful. Where do you go? I mean it too. This target and the next one, we're out of here. I think we've done pretty fair today, and something I haven't showed you, when I stopped for lunch, I can't help myself, but I wasn't sitting down eating, I was walking around looking where I was going to detect next. And I found a little area where I thought it may have been mined out by the miners. It looks like there may have been a couple of mine holes, I don't know, hard to tell, but I found a quartz stone, and it's the most like juiciest looking quartz stone you've ever seen. And I thought, oh, I wonder, as soon as I turn that detector back on after lunch, I'm going to swing my detector over it and see what it's got in it. And guess what? It's a big rock. I'll show you when we're walking back. I didn't bring it all the way down here, but it's a big rock, and it's sounding off like a madman. Only on one side too. It's lead, bloody lead. I'll show you all the rubbish I've dug today. I've dug a ton. But it's sounding off on one side, so it sounds really awesome. And it's one that I'll be carting my way out of here. I said it's quite big. We'll show you a look soon. But it's sounding off right near the vein of quartz that it's got in it. Quite a big, thick vein too. So last target on the right. The left was lead. Fingers crossed. The second one is gold. And then we'll get back to that big stone. I'll give you a look. And then we're heading for home. Finally. Alright, well that's it for today. As I said, we're walking our way out of the bush. I did dig a few more targets, I won't lie. But 2:40 and we're back at the car, nearly. I'll show you this rock too in a second. It's really cool. It's really loud. That's quite the walk. I haven't checked yet, but I'd say I've logged about 3 or 4k today, maybe 3. Let's have a bit of a listen to this. Turn that detector on. And I don't have a rock in my hand just yet, because it's in the pouch, but wait till you see how big it is. Oh, it's killing me back, carrying it. Oh, I had to get all the rubbish out of that back pouch bit too. It's all the rubbish, you know, I've had today. It's important to bring it out of the bush. It comes out of the bush. Whatever goes in comes out again. Don't want to litter. And all the rubbish down in the pouch there. I'll show you when we get home just how much I've dug, but lots of stuff. I think that went in. Now for the big guy. And he didn't exactly fit in properly. So we just had to do the best we could. That was on our back, size of my head. You see the quartz vein running right through there? That's where all the noise is. So I'll try not to break him up. I'm trying to move all this stuff out of the way. And the sound, sorry about that noisy detector wailing away in the background. The sound seems to be coming right here, which is well, quite obvious. That's where the quartz vein is running through that stone. Let's give you a listen. Ready? I didn't carry him back for nothing. That could have I could have a lot in it, like a gram. We'll just roll him over a little bit. He's a bit fragile, so I don't want to go damaging him. Not until I get home. Barely hear anything. So he's really on that very heavily mineralised side. And as I said, while I was having lunch, I was walking around that little gully down there and just eating my sandwiches and looking around, looking at the ground, looking at the geology, looking at the material. And there's a couple of these down there. This one in particular caught my interest. Look at that, it's just hanging on. But a couple in particular caught my interest. Oh, I'm not gonna break him just yet. Pull out of there so easy. And a couple of stones that did catch my interest, I grabbed them and sat them off to the side. So once I finished lunch, I thought I'll go back and just swing over them. And that's the result. The other ones didn't have anything, but that guy certainly did, and he seems to be right underneath all this quartz, which is about to fall out. So let's get him home, let's get packed up. I said it's 2:43. I think we've done a really good day. We've put in a good effort. I don't know how much gold we've got, it doesn't really matter. I'd just rather get home to the family now. We've got the gold and that's all that matters, and we shot a film. So every day I've got to make most of it and make some kind of money out of every day, otherwise I just can't be out here doing this. So we make the most of it. Alright, let's get packed up, and that's it. We'll see you at home. Rightio, well, here we are, finally made it back to home, and we're in our little hidey hole out the back. Perfect spot to be, and we're going to see what we did today. We got up at 6:30 this morning, and we didn't leave at 6:30. We spent a bit of time with the family, which was nice. But we then got out around about 10 o'clock we started, I think, from memory. It's been a long day. So what we did with detected gold, you can see there, a couple of dirty bits there rolling around with the two rocks, but we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. It's not too bad really. 10 little naked gold nuggets, what I like to call naked, detected gold, and we'll do a tally up at the end. First though, we just need to crush these two stones. We know they've both got gold in them. So let's give them a really quick crush up. There's number one. Just a tiny piece. Ka-toink. And we'll just do number two. I think they're only just going to have one piece in each. But we will pan that material off like we always do, just to make sure. And this big guy here beside me, he's a nice nugget, that one. This big guy here beside me, I don't know that I'll crush it up right now, right here. We might do a little bit just for a sample. Like I was looking at this out in the bush and I was going to break it off, and well, here we are at home, we can break it off. So that material there, we might just do like a real quick crush and pan just to show you guys. But ideally what I'll do is I'll crush it all up, the whole stone, and I will show you properly at a later date exactly what it had in it, because I'm not going to do it all now. Some very interesting material though. And that's where our signal was coming from, up in this little pocket of quartz that I'm ripping apart right now. It could be in that quartz. Look how mineralised it is, you know, it's been through a lot of heat and pressure and what have you underground, and come to the surface, and it's brought the gold up with it. That's where we're getting the signal. So there is gold in this rock 100%, but we've got a lot of crushing to do. So we'll just leave it for that for now, and we'll just work on these ones. So what we got for rock crushed gold just then, as you've seen, the 2 little bits, got a bit of quartz in there as well, but that's it, 2 bits of rock crushed gold. We'll add them, oh actually we won't add them together, we'll just make sure that was it. I don't think it's worth even pounding this off, but we will just to make sure, and then we'll just crush up a bit of this material, check it out, and then we'll do the final weigh up. Nearly done, getting there. Lights, camera, action. And we're going to do the final weigh up. So I just did a pan off on that material, and to be honest, it's very reddish in colour. Generally indicates a lot of ironstone, hot rock material, but you can see the quartz in there. There's only a small sample, I'm not done yet. So we'll give that another go. I think that's just it for me today. I've expended all the energy that I've got. So teared the pan off, naked gold, 4.6, not bad. I didn't think we were going to crack the gram today, but then again with that big stone, it was not hot rock material, like there's a lot of quartz in that, and we're getting a very, very prominent sound out the bush. We should get another half gram out of that big stone we brought out. So 0.58, I was going to say 5.9, well there you go, 5.9. 0.58 though for today, we'll just say. Not too bad efforts, around about $100 odd or a bit over of gold. And we've got a video too as well, which is good. 13.61, 13.62 is what's putting us up, is what it's putting up to for the month of August. And as I said, this week is horrible, horrible rain. Like torrential rain, lightning storms, thunder, everything. I'd rather not go out in it if I could, if I didn't have to. So, oh yeah, and that's all the rubbish that we got out today. Wire, shotgun shell, 22 bullets, rust, and a heap of lead. Anyway, that's about it for us today. I hope you've enjoyed. It was a long-winded video, I will say. Try and keep them around the 40 minutes to an hour. But look, just explaining all that as it went. And it's a Sunday, yeah. It's not normally a day that I go out detecting. It was great to get the gold, but ideally the real treasure for me is spending the day at home with my family on a Sunday. Just paying bills though lately, and look, you know, holidays coming up. I need to make the most of what I can do. And yes, the gold's good. Yes, the gold's nice. This is our little jar, our little stash at the moment. Look, it's good, it's great, but the real treasure is family. You know, spending the time that you've got with the ones that you love and that love you. So the gold is shiny, it's nice, I love it, but it doesn't love me back, not like my family does. So family is everything to me. The gold comes secondary, and the YouTube comes after that. So anyway, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed. It was a beautiful sunny day, not exactly where I wanted to be at the bush finding gold, like I said, but it's 4:04 now. We get to spend the rest of the time going and doing something with the family. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you on the next. Happy hunting.